How's it going, Maniacs? My name is Maniacal, and today's matter is the fourth vlog of 2019, or April. And if I had to give this month a rating, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. And you probably notice I have a trend of rating my months with like a 7. I can't necessarily say that it's been a bad month for a lot of other things. Like, you usually think it would be like, oh, you're just having a boring month or something like that. But no, I've actually been dealing with a lot of pain this month, and it's been a little bit worse off than my usual day-to-day stuff. So I'll talk about that in a minute, and you're probably also noticing that this video is a lot different because of the animation side of things. Well, actually, this is going to be an animatic video where I basically just tried to do something a little bit more fun than standing in front of the camera and, being my usual thumb-looking self. So let's see what happens. Alright, I will talk to you in a second. Alright, first things first, and this is probably going to be one of the last times I actually mention this, but happy birthday to everybody's birthday that it was this month, mainly naming my brother and my grandmother. The only reason I'm really mentioning this one this time is because of my brother. I gotta laugh at the dude because he's older than me, so I always get to joke around with him about being, the younger brother and him getting older than me faster, so that's always fun. And my grandmother, she turned 80 last month, so that's actually a pretty big deal. And then happy birthday also to a lot of the friends that I never got to say happy birthday to on Facebook. I saw it was your birthday, but I usually don't comment on people's things, trying not to be annoying or whatever. But yeah, happy birthday to you too. Yeah. What else happened during this month? The Avengers Endgame movie came out. More of a tearjerker than I thought it would be, thinking about it, because hearing, people actually crying at certain points in the movie was like, what the hell? No, it was actually a pretty good movie. I would definitely give it at least a 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10 more than likely, just because it's actually a pretty good movie. But yeah, no spoilers. Easter happened as well. My wife and I went over to a friend of the family's house where a lot of her family and friends of the family sat down to have a nice little luncheon. And it was good. It was a nice place, nice people, nice food. I think we bounced right before they did the egg hunt because I'm not about to sit through and have a bunch of kiddos running around me looking for eggs. So, yeah. Alright, so at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I was dealing with some pain. And it's something I really try not to talk about that much. Like, I do deal with quite a bit of pain on the daily. And I do complain about life events in my vlogs. So you could be like, oh yeah, you complain all the time. Like, you complain about, school whenever you're still in school. You complained about this, you complained about that. What are you talking about? But the big thing I usually try to avoid is talking about physical pain. I might have mentioned it whenever I was talking about a subject, like, my knee, back, and sleep apnea pains that I've been dealing with for forever now. But over the last, I'd say, couple of years, things have been getting pretty bad. And I'm over this last month, I started getting things checked out a little bit more and more, and I'm just going to go into that in a little bit more detail here. I guess I'll work my way from the bottom up. So my knees have been trashed since I was in the Army. I got checked out for that when I was still in the Army, and have been able to deal with that in its own way. They've given me knee braces. I've been given anti-inflammatories for the pain in my knees. None of it really works. It's still just painful. Even just sitting here right now, my knee is throbbing in pain. So I tend to avoid talking about it because there's not really much that can help without me being on some kind of pain pill or something like that. And I'm not really a big fan of pain pills because I'm not a big fan of feeling tired. And you could probably blame that on the sleep apnea and what that did to me. All right, so moving up a little bit from the knees, looking at my gut, I've had issues with like going to the bathroom and stuff like that for I don't know how long. I'm not going to draw any graphic details or anything like that. I just really want to express the point of it's mainly just been like a light gut issue where it's been like a slight bit of pain. When you start looking at your internal guts, you start thinking, that's a freaking puzzle that you don't understand. Like, as much as you read up on it, as much as you read dietary crap, you're not really going to be a professional in knowing what's wrong with your gut. And I've been so scared to follow through with that. But I mentioned, I think it was like a couple months ago, where I actually had to poop in a container and take it into the VA where they would test it. Well, since then, I've had a worsening and worsening pain in my gut that's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And it's gotten to the point of where I've actually had to leave work just because I felt like I was going to throw up, just because I was in so much physical pain. It literally felt like somebody put my gut in a blender, spun it around a bunch of times, and then basically shoved it back in my stomach. And I was like, yep, it's better. So yeah, that was a very painful experience, and something I really don't want to live through again. But it's becoming more and more obvious that it's probably actually going to keep happening. Trying not to have that mindset of, things are going to be bad and they're just going to keep being bad. Like usually I can blame, bad gut issues on stress, or maybe every once in a great while I can say, maybe I'm just not drinking enough water, or maybe I'm drinking too much water, or something like that. And I can usually just like shrug it off. But when pain gets to the point of actually causing you to not be able to physically continue with things because you're just in so much pain, then you have to start looking into it. So there we are with that one. So moving up slightly from there, you have my back. My back hasn't always been a bad thing. When I first got in the Army, I was perfectly fine, could lift anything, do whatever I wanted. I had a few falls when I was in the military. Like I slipped and fell on a rock that pretty much landed exactly where the pain is. And as much as I tell the doctors that, they're just kind of like shrug, like, oh, okay. I've had x-rays, and I think I've had an MRI done on my back where they basically just say, yeah, you got pretty much name everything that could be wrong with your back. You got a bulging disc, you got arthritis, you've got bone spurs, you've got, looks like the muscles around your spine are all, inflamed and swollen, and like they keep going through all this huge list of things, and it's like, yeah, I feel you. But it's kind of the same deal as my knees. They give me these numbing patches for my back that don't really fix it completely. Like they help with the muscle pain, but they don't fix all of the pain, and that's a big pain. Moving up from there, I've had high blood pressure for a good chunk of time. I was diagnosed with that when I was still in the Army. I'm on a medication for that. They helped me treat it. I don't really know what else to say to that beyond, it's there. It's high blood pressure. I can feel it. It sucks. They also have me on a vitamin D supplement because I guess I'm low on vitamin D for whatever reason. So that's another fun thing. And then you get up to my head, and that's where the fun really begins. I have sleep apnea, which the CPAP is helping big time with that. I don't know what I'd probably honestly be dead by now if I hadn't had the CPAP. I was literally a walking zombie whenever it kicked in, and I spent a good half a year, if not more, without any kind of treatment for it. Basically spent, I don't know how many days begging my leadership when I was on my deployment, saying, hey, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm in a lot of, I'm dealing with headaches. I'm dealing with, not being able to focus, dealing with not able to remember what I'm doing. I'm failing at a lot of these tasks. What can I do to, fix this? And they kind of just shrugged like, well, you're mission essential. So what you want us to do about it? Go get back to work, basically. Whenever I got back from that deployment, I got tested and found that I had severe sleep apnea, and have been working with that ever since. I've been on a CPAP ever since, and it went from me being a complete zombie to me being an okay zombie. I'm not as much of a zombie anymore, so it's a little bit better. Of course, around the same time, I started getting headaches, and I blamed the headaches on the sleep apnea and me not being treated for a good, so many months. Like, oh, hey, you have a light headache today. Oh, hey, you have a little bit of a medium headache today. Oh, hey, da-da-da-da-da. Fast forward to now, and I've been tested for my sleep apnea. And again, they basically say, your CPAP reads that you're using it for enough time. You aren't, supposed to be having headaches. So I don't know what to tell you. That was kind of a weird eye opener for me. Like, what else is going on? What else is, causing this level of headache or whatever? It was getting worse and worse, and we were getting to the point of me having migraines, and I'm still having migraines. Like even today, I'm sitting at this computer with, if I had to give it a rating, I don't know why I love the rating scale, but if I had to give it a rating, I would say it was probably a good 4 out of 10 headache, where it's a constant pain that's there, where you do your best to avoid thinking about it, where you do your best to just kind of like work through it and be like, okay, what else can I focus on? What else can I do? But there's certain points where it gets worse, and they do have a medication for me that I can't really take every day. I'm going to try to talk to my doctor about that because I have headaches every single day. It's not something I can keep working with anymore. It's getting to the point of being like, well, what the hell am I going to do? Like, I've been hurting my work performance because of this, and it's just not good. If I had to describe what a migraine feels like, imagine having your brain flayed, basically having like whatever skin is on top of your brain removed. And then on top of that, have a searing hot railroad spike driven through about the center of your brain. Also, like, just imagine like throbbing noise, like somebody's bumping some kind of subwoofer right next to your brain as well. Also, light sensitivity. I didn't realize that I had light sensitivity until I actually had my eyes dilated whenever they were testing me to figure out what was going on with my head. Holy crap, that pain you feel in your eyes whenever your eyes are dilated like that. Youch. That's pretty much how it feels, maybe to a much lighter extent than that, but it's definitely, I have light sensitivity whenever I'm dealing with these things. That's pretty much my description of a migraine, and whenever I feel it, how it feels. So yeah, the big thing with the headaches is I am still trying to get treatment for it. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But all right, going into the last part of the head here, a lot of the other things that I'm dealing with, like little tiny pains here and there, I can deal with. I'm not going to mention every little owie and boo-boo that I have. But the last one, I really don't like talking about all that much, mainly for the reason that I'm not 100% sure of how to talk about it. But I've been dealing with anxiety for a good chunk of time, and I've been having panic attacks and stuff like that for I don't know how long. I've been avoiding the idea of thinking that it could be what it is. And then my wife showed me this little chart basically saying, hey, look, you're having all these issues. You might actually be dealing with anxiety or, something similar to anxiety. Depression and anxiety go hand in hand. I've dealt with little bouts of depression, but I don't think that what I'm dealing with now is necessarily depression as much as it would be anxiety. I'll just go into a little bit more of this. I've been seeing a psychologist about, how I feel and stuff like that. Originally started out with me talking about my dad because I thought, it's still pretty fresh in my memory. I'm still missing the guy. And I thought that was still messing with me big time because that was a major point whenever I was actually depressed after my dad died. But I worked through that. I started seeing a psychologist again a little later on, still asking the same questions, like, hey, is it from my dad? I realized pretty quickly after that it wasn't from my dad. And then, well, hey, is it from, stress of this and that? And it's like, well, no, it's not from this or that. That's when my wife mentioned, well, hey, you have all these other things going on. You have gut issues, you have memory issues, you're dealing with headaches, you're dealing with all this other stuff. Like, this is all symptoms of anxiety. Why wouldn't this all match up to be the same thing? I was like, well, that actually makes stupidly good sense. Okay. So then I talked to my doctor about that a little bit, and she basically, I have a lot of weird mixed feelings about psychologists. I was able to see a psychologist when I was still in the Army. I was telling them, hey, I'm angry. Hey, all this other crap like that. And the one thing that they told me was, you're not happy with your job. You're not happy with this or that. And that was the furthest thing from the truth. Like, thinking about it, I was so happy with what I was doing. I was good at it. I was still the best at my job, even though I was dealing with sleep apnea and crap like that. I was able to talk to multiple psychologists throughout the years, trying to figure out what's going on with me. Why am I angry? Why am I sad? Why am I, not focusing on things? What's going on with me? What's going on with me? And it's usually a lot of the same answers of, well, you're just not happy with this or that. You need to make some changes. And I don't know how to approach a psychologist with my problems and have them understand that they are real, or that, I'm actually dealing with the things that are there. But now that I actually have a solid name for the things that I'm dealing with, and now that I'm actually kind of diagnosed with, migraines, headache, like regular headaches, memory issues, and anxiety, plus whatever else I was diagnosed with throughout all these different years, maybe I can actually get some treatment for it. Maybe I can actually find a proper medication that'll help me out, or maybe I can find a proper person I can talk to who's actually trained in how to deal with this kind of stuff and maybe help me not have as many panic attacks, or maybe help me deal with this kind of stuff to the point of not feeling like I'm falling apart. So while I was at work, I started dealing with a bunch of different issues. The headache started getting worse and worse. Stress levels started rising. I started having more migraines, more panic attacks. But the one thing that really got me was I wasn't remembering certain things. And I thought that my boss was just messing with me at first, saying things like, "Are you paying attention to me? Do you remember what I told you like 5 minutes ago? I thought I already told you this. I told you this. I told you that." Like, it was a constant barrage of just, "Hey, you need to remember things. Start writing down notes. Start doing this and that." And it was for little simple things like, "Hey, go grab this or go grab that, or, we're going to do this, this, and this." So I would set up and I would get this and this, but I would forget the other that thing. And it would become a constant thing of him just going on and on and on. And then I started talking to the psychologist about it and saying, "Hey, what am I doing that's, causing these issues? I don't know what's going on. I think it might be anxiety." Started talking to her about all these different things and thinking, I'm pissed off. Should I just quit my job and move on and, figure out something else? And she was like, "I'm not going to tell you what you can do with your life, but you need to do what's best for you. And if that means that you need to take a little bit of time off of work, go ahead and do that. That's on you. If you think that you can survive off of whatever you got going on and work on it and get yourself better to the point where you can actually start working again, maybe that's the best path for you." So then I went back to work that day, talked to my boss about it, and was like, "Hey, I'm thinking that it's probably best if I start training somebody else to take over this position. I think I'm done. I think I need to step away and find somebody else who's going to be better than I am, because obviously I'm screwing up so much." And he was really nice about it. He was like, "Look, I've invested a lot of time and money into training you and making sure that you're good to go. You're actually doing a lot better than you probably think you are. I noticed that you're a perfectionist. You love to have things, done very well, and you focus so much on the negatives whenever I tell you that you're doing a negative. You're probably only messing up 1 in 10 things, if, even if that. And give me a good 2 weeks, and if you're still not happy at the end of this 2 weeks, we're gonna train somebody else and get somebody else in this position so that we can get you better, get you moved on, and keep this company going or whatever." So I said, "Okay, I'll give you the 2 weeks. I'll see what I can do." I sat down with him. We started writing down the different lists, different checklists, and all this different stuff for me to go through and help me to remember and do things better. And he started backing off a little bit on the comments, and well, over time, things tend to slip back into the way they were. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm like messing up again. I'm having even more panic attacks. And on top of that, I started having gut issues where I had to step away from work. And that's like a major no-no in my book. So I'm back at the point again where I'm thinking, what is my next step? What am I going to do? One of the best pieces of advice that my wife gave me over this last chunk of time has been to treat your brain like it's an organ. Say you're having liver issues, you're not going to drink until you drop. Say you're having, issues with your kidney, you're going to take time to drink some cranberry juice or something like that. You're going to try to take care of yourself. You're going to try to do the things that make you better. You're going to try to recover. She said, treat your brain like it's one of these organs where you're taking care of it. Get the help that you need. Talk to a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. Fix yourself, work with it. Try to get better. I've been kind of sticking with that, and I've been trying to slowly get into a mindset of getting myself where I want to be happy and thinking that way, and trying to do little things that make me feel better. And so I started making videos, so I started drawing more, so I started doing sculpture. And saying that, I have to kind of point out the fallacy of that. If you're making yourself do something, are you happy with it? That's kind of one of the things that depression, anxiety, and all these other things do to you, is they make you not want to do anything. They pretty much make you want to just curl up in a ball and not exist anymore. So forcing myself to do the things that make me happy has actually been one of the things that's actually been helping me big time. And you have to ask yourself, is this something that I need to do or something that I want to do? Looking at YouTube, I was posting videos nearly every day when I first started recording with Kirby and Ness and Pitt and all them. I needed to focus on growing in that medium. I need to learn how to edit videos. I need to learn how to record the videos. I need to work on my personality. I need to work on this and that. It became something that I needed to do for myself. And then after I felt like I had the skill set, it became something that I wanted to do. And I even increased my skills even more. As I was doing it, and I was doing it more and more and more, I noticed that a lot of the other things in my life were lacking. My relationship with my wife was starting to fade because I was spending, 24/7 thinking about, working with, doing all these different things to make sure that whenever I got home, I was going to be recording videos instead of going out and doing things with her. And I wanted to think about it like, this is what I want to do. Now, what do I need to do? Finding that happy balance is definitely something that you need to do. I made a promise a while back that I was going to post a YouTube video every week, and I failed that the week after I got out of college. And you think after you get out of college, you're going to have all the time in the world, you're going to be free to do whatever. But a lot of things started moving. Time has passed. We were able to find a house. We now live in a house. We're doing all these different things. All these things are happening. And now that things are starting to settle down, it's time to start to get back to that mode of, here's all the things I want to do. Now what do I need to do? And just realizing that there's so much going on right now that I'm kind of just posting videos whenever I get the chance. I've been streaming a lot more, thinking, hey, this is actually a good idea to do this. I think the big thing is you really need to look out for yourself. You really need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you can do the things that make you happy. Alright, well, for a monthly vlog, this is actually going way longer than I expected it to. I hope you all enjoyed. If you get a chance, check out the rest of the Powered by Game Over crew. We're actually a bunch of talented people who want to post videos that are entertaining for everyone. Thank you for watching this. Let me know what you think of the style. Let me know what you think of me doing it like this rather than the face cam. I am playing around with the different styles of things and kind of just trying to figure out what the next steps are. And this month was a really hard month for me, and I really just wanted to talk about it a little bit in depth and maybe put a little bit more out on the internet than is needed. But maybe somebody out there is dealing with something similar, and maybe we could talk about that. And I would like that a lot. But thank you for watching. Don't forget that you matter. I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye. Alright, I know this video was a little bit of a bummer video, and I did an original recording that got deleted because it just wasn't really feeling right. Well, I've been watching a lot of animators like Jaden Animations, The Odd Ones Out, Tabs, and there's a bunch of other ones that I've been checking out more recently. And I thought to myself, why not actually try and make an animation out of, what you're doing and see what it's like. I've always had a passion for it, and I thought, why not do something a little bit special? So, yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and definitely let me know what you think. I'm going to be improving my style for this kind of stuff. I kind of rushed to get this one done. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you think, and yeah, goodbye.